Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming from right here in our quaint little studio. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea. I'm joined in studio today by Jonathan Voico.
Good morning, everybody.
By
let me mute my phone here.
Writer, director, producer, Robert Meyer Burnett.
Dude, I'm scared of alien life forms.
I am now. Whatever happened to the cute E.T.? Or Wally, or no, Wally's from Earth. That doesn't count either. But anyway.
He's an alien somewhere.
But most importantly, guys, you guys are here. Thank you so much for being here and making our little show part of your day. And here's how today's show is going to go. We're going to start off by talking about a number of predetermined topics we got lined up for you guys. Then in the second part of the show, we're going to take your live comments and questions. If you have a thought, theory, opinion, or question you'd like us to address on the show, as long as we deem it appropriate to be addressed on the show, go ahead and fire it on into our tip link at www.streamelements.com/JohnCampea/tip. And here's the good news about this tip link. It's actually good 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if you happen to be listening to this show on a podcast feed, either on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or your favorite podcasting app of choice, by the way, guys, even if you watch the show on YouTube, make sure you go and subscribe to the podcast so you got the audio version there just in case you need it. Or if you're watching this show a little bit later in the day, you can still send in a topic or question to the tip link. And if you send one in when we're not live, well, we'll just get around to answering it on the next episode. All right. Hey, but before we get started, I want a little bit of an update. So you guys know that I got the van now, which I'm very excited about. We took it out for our first overnight last night, had a great time. But that means we're starting our movie meetups.
Uh-oh.
This Friday, of course, is our first movie meetup. And I am going to be at the Harkins.
You have it here?
Estrella Falls 16 on Friday night, going to the 740 show of Nobody 2. And after I go see the movie, I'm just going to hang out in the foyer and in front of the movie theater for about 30 to 45 minutes and meet and talk to any of my fellow film fans that want to buy tickets and go to that movie too. Here's the funny thing though. Just as we were about to start the show yesterday, I went to the Harkins website, Showtime, 0 tickets sold. Then we announced everything. This is the seat map now. Almost 50 tickets sold. And I don't know that that's all people going for the movie meetup, but I mean...
Sure it is. You should take credit for that.
I'll take credit for it. But I mean, I've been kind of hoping that every stop we make, we can get 2 or 3 people. So we might have 40 or 50 people showing up to this. Would be great. And then after that, next week, we're going to be doing one in San Diego. And then after San Diego, we're going to do a 4-city loop. We're going to do Albuquerque, followed by Denver, Colorado, followed by Salt Lake City, Utah, followed by Las Vegas, Nevada. And then once that's done, we'll see how all that goes. And then we'll start going further and further out east. And looking forward to that. Good. Seattle's got to be on the list too.
Got it. Might I ask, how does that going to affect our daily shows? Are we doing a daily show tomorrow? Friday?
Yep.
From here, like normal.
Yeah. So what's going to happen is Friday, I'm going to do the show with, and then I'm going to split as soon as the show's over, because it's about 5 hours to Phoenix. That'll give me about 7.5 hours to get there.
Nice.
And then the great thing about the van is, while I'm on the road, Rob and Jonathan still be here in studio, and I will remote in because I have Starlink satellite internet built into the van, which is, I'm very excited about. This is going to be so cool.
That's what I was asking. So is our Friday show going to be your first on the road show?
No, I'm actually going to do the show from here on Friday.
Okay, yeah.
We might actually start Friday's show a little bit early so I can get out early because it's only I should be able to get to Phoenix with about 2 hours to spare. So yeah, we'll see. I'm very excited about it. Anyway, guys, with all that down, let's get on to the real stuff that we're here to talk about, shall we? And we're going to start off with this. The leadership at AMC Theaters is completely clueless and incompetent. That's simply my evaluation of the scenario. And now don't get me wrong. They do some things very, very well that I'm a big fan of. They do. And AMC Theaters, just so you all know, is my movie theater of choice. I obviously worked with them for many years, had very, very good memories of working with them. And they are still my movie theater of choice that I choose to go to most regularly. I go to some others as well, but my most regularly. However, in other areas of, common sense, they're as dumb as horse shit. So one of the big new things that really emphasizes how out of touch they are, has just come through. You guys might remember the other week we talked about how news broke that AMC is listening to its fans and to its studio partners, because the fans and the studios have been saying you play too many trailers. You simply, from the fans' point of view, you tell me a movie starts at 7 and it doesn't actually start till 7:30 when I paid $22 to come to the movie. That's nonsense. But also their studio partners are saying, hey, nobody's remembering the trailers they're even watching because you're playing like 7, 8, 9 of them. It makes no sense. Reduce the number of trailers. We've had a number of studios at CinemaCon, Rob, in the last couple of years, get on stage at CinemaCon in front of the movie theater owners and say, please reduce the number of trailers you're playing. So you might remember the other week that AMC, this report came out, AMC has heard the call and they're going to reduce the pre-show time. They're going to reduce that. Ooh, great. I said, wonderful. That's a great step in the right direction. But oh my God, if I was writing satirical comedy trying to highlight just how idiotic and stupid the leadership over at AMC Theaters is, I couldn't have written this script any better. Because you guys might remember that just recently, AMC just added more ads with NCM, right? The pre-show company and stuff like that. They just added more ads. They're not even taking away as many ads as they just added. They're taking away two things, guys. In this big report of they're reducing their trailer time, listening to their studio partners. They're taking out two things. Here are the things they're taking out. We go over to the article in the wrap. So what's AMC going to do? Adam Aaron, lead ass clown at AMC, says the trims won't come from the NCM ads. Those are contractually obligated. Instead, the company is looking to shortening its in-house reels, telling moviegoers to silence their phones and not to talk during movies. What the actual fuck? The only meaningful, relevant, and helpful thing that they show, asking the patrons, hey guys, please don't talk, don't text, don't tweet, don't use your phone, don't be a distraction to your other fellow moviegoers other than, oh, look at this romantic couple sharing a Diet Coke. Or, oh, here's Nicole Kidman for the 50 millionth fucking time. Sitting in a movie theater, advertising a movie theater I'm already in. Maybe for the 17,000th time I can see, now in theaters, This Is Black. Oh, I've only seen that 1,000 times. No. You see, the genius Adam Aaron thought, what's the one thing that we should really, I know, Eureka, he said, while sitting on his butt plug. I know, motivation, inspiration has hit. Let's take out the one thing that is actually helpful. Let's take out the thing where we're asking the patrons, please don't disturb your fellow patrons. Yeah, let's take that one out. Oh, but they're not done. Then he says, AMC has also surveyed a number of trailers that it screens compared to other chains and found that on average, it screens one more trailer than the other competition. That doesn't surprise me that AMC shows more trailers than anybody else. So are they going to change and say, we're going to have less trailers than everybody else? No. Aaron says they will cut out the one extra trailer.
Couldn't just do two? Just two trailers at least?
They're just going to take out the one. So, wait a minute. We play more trailers than everybody else? Okay, we'll reduce it. So
Did you
we'll
see
take
the
out one.
next sentence? We knew when we made the NCM deal, we might have to make a trade-off. So if we're adding 6 minutes in ad time, we'd have to reduce a trailer.
Oh, yeah.
So
this is genius math, Rob. This is 4D chess. This is next level intellect. This is brain work at power. And here's the thing. I only get so upset about it because they are my favorite. I get angry because I care. If I didn't give a crap about AMC, I'd be like, look at these losers, whatever. But I care. I value this company. I do. I really do. And I enjoy, to a degree, going there, and it's kind of like when I get really mad about my Toronto Maple Leafs. It's because I love them. It's because I love them so much. I get so angry when they do something stupid. But it's like, you can't write this. You couldn't make this up. That there are things to take away is, let's add 5-6 minutes of ads. But don't worry, everybody. Don't worry. We're going to take out one trailer and the one in-theater piece of marketing that is actually useful to everybody.
That people
That people actually appreciate is there. It's like a guy cheating on his girlfriend saying, don't worry, baby, don't worry. I'll take care of it. I'll take care of this problem. I mean, I'm still going to fuck other girls, but I'm not going to use the condoms on them that I reserve for you. Like, that's the logic that Adam Aaron is applying here. And this is the same guy. I got to remind everybody about this. This is the same guy who got on the stage at CinemaCon, in the first CinemaCon after the pandemic, and took credit. He literally stood on stage and took credit for, look how great AMC is doing, when I guarantee you, by my own estimation and many others, I guarantee you, AMC theaters would not exist today. They would have gone out of business in the pandemic were it not for the GameStop and AMC meme stock that literally saved their asses. But he never mentioned that from the stage of CinemaCon. No. He just talked about the genius leadership and blah. Anyway, I'm getting mad at other things that have nothing to do with the current.
You sound like me talking about Star Trek. Great.
I just don't understand how you can be so out of touch. And then, Rob, they sit in their corporate circle jerk boardroom and go, why are less people coming to the movies today? When they can't do the simplest, most practical things to get it done. Again, this is the same CEO who gave himself a $9 million bonus for laying off tens of thousands of AMC workers. Just throwing that out there again. Anyway, Rob, you hear about this reducing the trailer time. I don't know. I'm sure you're going to be more level-headed about this than me. So please, the floor is yours. What do you think?
Look, level-headed has got nothing to do with it. I mean, I think you're absolutely right. It's people have spoken. The studios and the audiences have spoken about this. You know, the studios even said at CinemaCon, please play less trailers and please, I mean, we want people to remember our trailers. We want them to retain the excitement.
We want it to make an impact.
Yeah, and so when people walk out of the theater after the movie's over, they're like, that was a great movie, but I can't wait to see The Long Walk.
Yeah.
You know, and I find that just absurd. And okay, they made a deal with, the funny thing about it is, none of their patrons, what does they say, NCN or whatever it is? I guarantee you, not one person who ever went to the movies would have said, really glad they made that deal with MCN or whatever, because now we get to see more ads.
It just makes coming more enjoyable, Rob.
Not one single person has ever said that about, and you know what I find annoying too? The ads aren't even in the same resolution as the movie that you're going to see.
It's true. Yeah.
There's very few ads that are in 4K. It looks like you're getting a low resolution, sometimes standard def, maybe view. It's so. I just don't get it. I don't get it because not only it makes the ads themselves look cheap, just from a visual perspective. When I'm watching those pre-ads, and a lot of them, to be fair, have been put together on some kind of an output along with some commentator and whatever. So they're not even giving you a full resolution. It's not even HD. It's probably 720p or something, if it is at all. And you're looking at something, and it denigrates. Whenever I go into a theater and I see ads, I think to myself, is the projection going to look like this? It makes me doubt.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what the picture quality of the movie
and the sound
be
is usually mono.
Yeah,
it's not in stereo, and I always have to wonder. It makes me think as a seasoned moviegoer, and then thank God in Harkins theaters, since you're going to one, when the Dolby Atmos logo kicks in, I'm like, all right, things are cooking now. But I have to wonder until I hear that. I'm like, am I going to watch this? This is like an old Fathom Events. They look much better. Fathom looks much better now than it used to, but
it's still in mono though.
I'm looking at this stuff going, you don't even make commercials that look good. and you're showing them to me in the theater. They're not showing off your sound system. If anything, they're denigrating the experience because you're looking at garbage on the screen. And I don't mean the ad content. I mean the actual presentation of what you're watching is low rent, which I don't know why advertisers find that acceptable. Why wouldn't you want your commercials to look as good as the movie that you're there to see? When you're watching these things, I mean, that's just...
I mean, you're 100% right. I personally don't really care what the resolution of the ads are because I don't want them there in the first place.
But as a post-production guy myself, I look at them and I'm like, why is it you're sending these out? Why would you want that to look that way?
And again, let me underline the main principle here. I have no problem. Like, this is a YouTube show that we're doing, right? Or podcast.
It looks better than the commercials to see in movie theaters.
The production looks much better than that. And we put out a free show. It costs nothing for anybody to watch our show. We support our show with sponsors and ads. That's how we support it. But we give the show freely, and the trade-off is you're getting the show for free, so we have ads. I have zero issue, zero problem. If AMC announced that they were going to adopt that model, you can come to our movie theaters for free. In exchange, you're probably going to get about 30 minutes of ads before we start the movie. If AMC wants to do that, I'm totally cool with it. What boggles my mind is that each year it feels like that pre-show length gets longer and the price of the tickets also gets higher. So they're not balancing each other out. They're not. They're just, no, we're just going to add more of it. And then to get this potential light at the end of the tunnel. We've heard you, everybody. We're going to reduce the number. We're going to reduce this. Yeah, we've heard you loud and clear. We're going to reduce it. What are you going to take out? Well, the one thing that's helpful, Adam Aaron says, that'll take out like 3 minutes. That adds like a minute or less. The please don't talk, don't text. At least as far as I can tell.
That's under, yeah.
And that's something I appreciate.
Yeah, and I actually think they should do something more with it. And, since we have more trailers than everybody else, we'll take out one. Anyway,
they took out the one I wanted to see.
They should take
whatever
out
one that was.
They should take out 2 trailers and the Nicole. They're not going to let go of the Coke one because that's too much money.
No, the world needs more Nicole.
Or take out the Nicole. Like I'm sorry. Once you have a new one, like a really true new one,
if you keep Nicole,
go ahead and play that for 3 or 4 months. Either take out the Nicole one, take out your Diet Coke.
They won't do that.
As we're racing through the streets.
That's too much money from Coca-Cola coming in.
But to take out the one thing that is actually beneficial.
And it literally is like, maybe I would estimate maybe 20 seconds of screen time. Like that. Or
every time you add a minute of pre-show time, take $2 off the price of the movie ticket. But this whole thing, and anyway, sorry, we've gone on this. I've dragged us through this long enough. We need to move on. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? How are you planning on celebrating AMC doing this massive reduction of its pre-show time for its theaters and their ultimate respect for you and your time? Anyway, whatever you guys think about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? Alien Earth, a show that I confess I thought was a bad idea. Now remember, I heard about the show prior to seeing Alien Romulus. And granted, Predator Prey was it was Predator Prey, right? Yeah. Prey was much better than amazingly better than I thought it would be. And I was kind of turning me around, but still, really, you're going to do an Alien TV show? Then I saw Alien Romulus, and I'm like, oh, maybe this could be good. And then the early reactions were all very, very good. Well, last night they dropped the first 2 episodes. Fantastic. And here's the thing. It was not what I thought it was going to be. I was kind of expecting something, and this would have been great too. This would have been great. I was expecting something along the line of Aliens, the sequel. I was expecting just a hardcore action show. Like a lot of space marines running around shooting aliens. Yeah, come get some. Right? Game over, man. Like I was expecting a lot of that. What we got instead was a decent amount of action, sure. But what we got instead was something more along the lines of the original Alien. This is a true sci-fi show. It's a sci-fi, it's science fiction. And I'm just going to read you just quickly. Like last night, once I got through the first 2 episodes, I simply texted Rob last night and I said, this is more pure sci-fi like Alien than an action film like Aliens. Like that's the first person I wanted to text was Rob. And I'm like, this is sci-fi, and not just sci-fi because there's alien monsters. You know, pure science fiction is when writers and creators are envisioning the possibilities and the fears of the future and what that could be. And particularly when they highlight our existential questions that we have about life, meaning, existence, the future, all that kind of stuff. It's what makes Star Trek such good sci-fi when it's firing on all cylinders.
Oh man, Brave New World. Psh.
Exactly. Just like Brave New World. That's said. And I was watching
the Aldous Huxley novel.
Yeah.
And I was just eating it up. The introduction of the variations of artificial life, like whether it's synths or cyborgs or the different things. The whole idea about the corporate takeover of the entire planet, and it's not just Utani. Like all that kind of stuff playing into the philosophical, existential questions that man has asked forever. Oh, with a pretty brutal alien monster that goes around and rips people apart. Like all into one. I'm not going to sit here and say this is the greatest sci-fi show of all time. I'm just simply saying that as somebody who had my doubts initially about what this show could be, Rob, I have emerged out of the first 2 episodes as a real believer in the show, and I cannot wait for the next bunch of episodes. Anyway, Rob, you had a chance to watch Alien Earth last night. What did you think about it?
I was blown away, to be honest. Like you, I mean, I think you said it very well. It's an incredible science fiction show. And what people don't understand, and I think so often this is the case, the film Alien, the original Ridley Scott film, Dan O'Bannon and Ronald Shusett writing, and Alien, a lot of people look at Alien and go, oh, it's about, it's a haunted house in space. It's about an alien monster. But what really makes the movie, you can always do alien monsters. There's plenty of movies. I could show you plenty of movies that have alien monsters in them that are not at all like Alien. But what makes Alien the kind of movie it is the world building that it's doing. Like, first of all, and there's a lot of questions, Ash, the robot in Alien, the question that you have a company, Weyland-Yutani, that knew the aliens were there, that purposefully diverted the Nostromo there, that you find out that the crew is expendable. You also find out that there's an alien derelict ship that they don't explain with, of course, the space jockey in it and thousands of eggs. That ship was going somewhere. Where did it come from? Where was it going? And the thing about the alien itself is it's the cosmic, it's a stand-in for the cosmic horror or the inevitability or the non-understanding we have for the rest of the cosmos. Here's a creature that we don't know. Where did it come from? We can't understand it. How did it evolve? Where did it evolve? And there's all these questions being asked. And what Alien Earth did was it didn't look at it and go, yeah, we're going to make some hot alien action. It's going to kill a bunch of people.
Which also would have been fine. I would have been cool with that too.
But the thing is, what Noah Hawley did was if you go back to that original film, there's all of these questions that are posed that were never going to be answered. But it makes the world, because they're not really relevant to the actual story that's being told, but it makes that kind of world building makes everything happening richer, because you realize that there's an entire universe happening around the crew of the Nostromo that you're never going to find out the answers to, but it makes it much more real. And that what Noah Hawley did was he then extrapolated, like all great science fiction does, okay, where's our world at now and where's it going? We're on the cusp of artificial superintelligence. We have corporations that are dividing up the world today. Where did these artificial people like Ash or like David, or like Bishop come from in all of these movies? And are there different kinds of those things? And so Noah Hawley decided to tell what all great science fiction writers do, a real science fiction story, as you pointed out. And I sat there and reading about, and I knew Noah Hawley after watching his X-Men series Legion. I knew that he was going to give us something special, or Fargo, because he's a real storyteller, and he's a real science fiction storyteller, and he said himself that he is a lifelong self-professed Alien fan. Now that can go either way in Hollywood. Being a fan doesn't necessarily mean you grok it all, which is a Heinlein term that Elon Musk is absconded with, but he really does get it. And he went down and thought to himself, okay, I'm going to look at the whole alien universe holistically, and how's it going to work? I would imagine Mr. Trachtenberg over doing the Predator franchise between Killer of Killers and now Badlands, he too is delivering on the Predator side, because they're all now one universe.
Yeah.
That you have two auteurs who have figured out or expanded the universe. And Cameron did the same thing. Who laid the eggs? Cameron thought about, okay, a shake and bake colony. What's going to happen? He built all this world building happens in Aliens as well. And it was great, dude. And the possibilities, Holly says he's got a multi-season arc, because who's going to win the competition? What's humanity going to look like when you're in a synthetic body that lives forever? Star Trek dealt with that in the first season, 1966, with What Are Little Girls Made Of, that Strange New Worlds ripped off just a couple of weeks ago. Oh, wait, I won't get angry about it. But it's great stuff. I can't wait to see more of it. I'm very excited.
Yeah,
Real science fiction.
Again, and it's satisfied on so many levels. Again, we've waxed poetic about the science fictionness of it too, but also really interesting characters. The kid, like, I really am fascinated with the Wendy character.
Great.
I love the character. And when the monster action goes down, it's very satisfying.
And let's talk about the new creatures. We don't
want to give too much away for people who haven't seen last night, but yeah.
But it's not just as, and the idea was
other aliens.
Yeah, because in the first Alien, it brings up the idea that they knew about these aliens. So it's not breaking canon, it's adding to canon, which I think is really great. And coming up with what you find out in the beginning of the show, what they were doing, that it was an expedition. 65 years worth of expedition. Great stuff, man.
All right, guys. Question is for you. We clearly loved Alien Earth, at least the first 2 episodes so far. Did you have a chance to watch it last night? If so, what did you think about it? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness may not have been as good as the first Doctor Strange. I don't think it's one of the better MCU films, but I still enjoyed it. I liked it. And one of the things that I quite liked was America Chavez, played by, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, Xochitl Gomez.
Xochitl Gomez.
And I particularly loved her in the first act of the film, because we saw the first act of the film months before the movie came out, and we had a really good time with it. I thought it was the best act of the movie was Act 1, but still, really liked her. Her name has not really come up in anything too much when it comes to the MCU since then. But I think it was Entertainment Weekly. Either Entertainment Weekly or Entertainment Tonight was sitting down and interviewing her. And the interviewer got sneaky and kind of tried to get her to spill stuff. And she might have done it. Because while the MCU Chair Watch revealed a lot of names, Xochitl Gomez was not one of those names. But as reported through Comic Book Movie, the interviewer asked to describe what America brings to the table in Avengers Doomsday, she answered, bravery, courage, and powerful. Bravery, courage, and powerful. I love
it. Like, did they ask her if she was, did they announce that she's in the movie?
No, there's been no announcement that she's in the movie.
That's a great way to get people to spill the beans.
In Avengers Doomsday, which you finished, just recently finished filming, what would you say America brings to the page? Oh, wow. Again, look, maybe she didn't. I want to be very clear. Maybe he asked it in such a way that she wasn't even paying attention, that the fact that maybe he just, in her brain, it was just, oh, what does America bring to the table? Or whatever. But the wording was, what do you bring to Avengers Doomsday? She says, bravery, courage, let's say powerful. Again, stop short of saying, let me be clear, I am in Avengers Doomsday. Like, that didn't happen, but it seems she might have let it slip. And listen, if this is true, And I kind of believe it is.
It's all true.
It narratively, Rob, it would make total sense. You're talking about Doomsday and Secret Wars completing and finishing off the multiverse saga. Secret Wars is their ultimate multiverse story. The one character in your MCU who can just walk between realities whenever she wants.
Some people do that on this planet.
Yeah, depending on what they're smoking. It would almost be jarring and make no sense if she wasn't a part of this story. I'm not saying she's going to be the MacGuffin of Doomsday and Secret Wars like she was in Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness. But I mean, if she wasn't there, that would simply make no sense whatsoever. It would be like saying we're going to do the next Avengers movies where these alien creatures come who determine a planet's worth by their physical strength and not having Hulk in it. Like that just wouldn't make any sense. So it makes sense to me if she is. And if she is, I've actually been wanting to revisit the character. Anyway, Rob, you heard her responses to all the questions and stuff like that. Number one, do you believe she's going to be in it? And then does that feel like they're shoehorning her in, or does it feel natural and normal that she would be there?
No, I think absolutely she's going to be in it, because that was really their first calling this the multiverse saga. It's in the title of that movie. You know, it also got me really thinking, like, Wanda Maximoff's in that movie too. So I would imagine that we've heard rumors or whatever. Wanda Maximoff has to be in Avengers Doomsday.
Elizabeth Olsen's still insisting she's not.
Right, but she has to. I think she has to be. But it got me thinking. If you're dealing with the multiverse and if Wanda Maximoff is in it, and we know Ian McKellen's in it.
Yes.
Ian McKellen's her dad.
Yep. At least in the comics.
Well, but I'm sure they're going to play with that in the multiverse. Imagine, if you will, because we know the X-Men are in it.
Yeah.
What if, I was always complaining, or I'd speculated before that there would be a Wanda Maximoff moment when she says no more mutants and gets rid of all the X-Men.
Right.
I think we're going to see that. I think we're going to see her. She's going to see she's going to see Magneto and wig out. Maybe America Chavez takes her places. Who knows? Maybe she goes and gets her like she was going to get, in the Multiverse of Madness. And we actually get that moment where she's actually confronting Magneto about everything that's going on, and you're a mutant, dear, whatever. And she doesn't reconcile it because she doesn't know him. And it drives her completely insane. And that's when she says no more mutants and gets rid of the entire mutants.
It's honestly one of the most pivotal moments in comics ever.
Yeah. And then you get this great stuff, and it would lead into Battle World, and then the mutants get brought back and they're all different. Be a great way to get rid of the X-Men, like, but bam, and the only person she doesn't get rid of is Deadpool.
Because he exists outside the fourth wall, man.
Yeah.
You can't, even Wanda can't get rid of him.
Yeah, and he'd be standing there going, how great would that? No more mutants, and there's only Deadpool left. I don't know. But she's got to be in the movie. It's,
Yeah, I and by the way, to the Wanda Maximoff thing, Elizabeth Olsen is still insisting she's not in it, and she sounds pretty convincing to me.
I don't believe anybody. Not after Andrew Garfield.
But remember, we are now in an era where not long ago, now granted, he wasn't talking about Wanda specifically. Not long ago, we talked about on the show, Kevin Feige brought up the fact that, hey, movies change actors for characters all the time. We can do it too. Maybe Elizabeth Olsen isn't in it, but Wanda still is. And maybe they get another actor. I'm not saying that's what they're doing. I'm just saying that Kevin Feige just recently said he's not opposed to recasting roles if they need to. So something to keep in mind. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Do you think Sochi just accidentally let it slip that she's in Doomsday? It would kind of make sense that she should be, given what her power set is. I don't know. Whatever you guys think about this whole thing, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? Speaking of things slipping, the ratings of Daredevil. Obviously, they went down a bunch with Daredevil Born Again. And I don't know, we all should have been all that surprised. I mean, we all talked about how wildly popular it was on Netflix, but we never really got a solid sense of the numbers there. And maybe not as many people watch it as we thought. Or other reasons. This is more gritty and adult. Maybe parents didn't let their kids watch. I mean, whatever. But the ratings weren't as good. I mean, Agatha all along had bigger ratings. They did. That's not being sarcastic. They did. Agatha all along had higher viewership numbers. So anyway, star of the series and star of the most underrated film of all time, Stardust, Charlie Cox, was recently at a convention. And when talking about one of the variations and versions of the Daredevil suit that he's going to be wearing in Daredevil Born Again Season 2, he accidentally referred to the season as Game Radar puts it, the final season. Daredevil star Charlie Cox calls Born Again Season 2 the final season, while teasing his favorite suit is still to come in the Marvel series. Now, this is what they wrote. During an appearance at GalaxyCon, Cox talked up an upcoming suit on the Disney Plus series, which he says is his new favorite suit for The Man Without Fear. While waxing lyrical over the new threads, the Daredevil actor also revealed that it would do something quote-unquote unique and separate from the comics in what he described as the final season. All right. Now, before we get too into it, I want to throw out 2 asterisks to this. Number 1, Vincent D'Onofrio is saying he still thinks there could be a season 3. And the other thing is, keep enough room in this that Charlie Cox may have misspoke. It happens. We're human. I accidentally misspeak when I do that. You accidentally misspeak, you at home, when you're talking to somebody, you correct yourself, whatever. It could just be that Charlie Cox misspoke. Maybe he meant to say, maybe he wanted to say this most recent season. Maybe he accidentally said final season, whatever, right? He never later on stops and goes, and just a reminder, everybody, this is the last season. He doesn't say that. So I want to just make sure we have those asterisks out there. That said, him referring to season 2 as the final season may catch us by surprise because, Brad Winderbaum, is that how you pronounce his last name? The executive at Marvel who runs all the television and animation, recently said, hey, we're going to do Daredevils. Well, recently, a while ago, said, we're going to do Daredevil season 3, 4, 5, 6, and we're going to have a season every year. We're not going to have to wait. Remember, we did that big talk about it because that's great. We shouldn't have to wait 2 or 3 years in between seasons. But the reality is, this is not, a small thing to make a Daredevil series. And I'm sure, just like the fans and us, I'm sure Disney had certain expectations of how big the numbers would be on Daredevil Born Again. It clearly didn't hit those numbers. It's not that unthinkable that they could very seriously be looking at season 2 as the final season. Saying, you know what? We brought Daredevil home. We've got the character under the tent now. And we revisited him. Great. But it's not returning numbers that justify the energy and effort, particularly in this new era where Bob Iger and Kevin Feige are saying we're going to make less than we've made in the past few years. Is it really that inconceivable that season 2 of Daredevil Born Again would be its final one? And I would suggest it's not inconceivable. Again, I'm leaving room for the fact that Charlie Cox may have just misspoke. I'm simply saying if Kevin Feige came out tomorrow and definitively said, yes, Daredevil season 2 will be the final season, I'm not going to be surprised and I'm not going to be shocked. Even though I personally really liked Daredevil Born Again. I think I liked it more than most people did. But I wouldn't be surprised. Anyway, Rob, you heard the comments from Charlie Cox. What do you think he meant? And would it be surprising to you if they continued into season 3? Would it be surprising to you if they canceled it? How do you see this?
Well, I think he was correct in saying that this is the last season of Daredevil Born Again because the story will be over. I didn't necessarily get from that that's the end of Daredevil. They might have, Born Again is a specific thing. They could have, Daredevil, the return of Typhoid Mary, and I think they're going to do more Daredevil shows. I honestly do. I think one of the things we tend to forget is we only hear about the numbers when something is first airing. But it's kind of like what happened with cable in the old days. These shows are on there for forever. So we might just hear about the original numbers. Like, did it make it during the time of airing? Did it get on the Nielsen or whatever, the top 10 while it was... But that doesn't take into consideration how many people continue to watch it as the show exists for whatever.
Sure, but we don't have any anecdotal evidence to suggest it did have any kind of a post-original
No,
run
but
surge.
people continue. There's a lot of people that discover shows. It's, it's like Suits. When they put Suits on Netflix or whatever after it's gone off the air,
5 years after it went off the air.
Yeah, suddenly Suits becomes the #1 thing because people start watching it. There might be an appearance. You might not. Daredevil might show up in Avengers Endgame, and suddenly Avengers Doomsday, and somebody starts like, whoa, this Daredevil show is pretty good. And it has a resurgence. So if Daredevil keeps people coming back, look, I just finished my 4th rewatch of For All Mankind, and I've watched, they can look and see, I don't know what the numbers are as people discover that show because it's on Apple Plus and no one knows what's on Apple Plus anyway, as they sort of discover, and they could see that, this has had a consistent viewership for the last 2 years on our platform. And if Daredevil, if they decide to put him into Avengers Endgame, I keep saying Endgame, Doomsday, and he has some pivotal role and somebody likes what he does, there's a whole show about this character, a whole new audience is going to go rediscover him. So I think the quality of this show is such that I would never shut the door on it or him. And I think that, but I do think he's absolutely right. Daredevil Born Again is over, is the final season.
Yeah.
That story's done.
Daredevil, whatever. After that.
So I think he's right about that, but I didn't get necessarily that there's going to be no more Daredevil.
It very well could have been that he was misspoke or whatever, but let's push this a little bit. Bob Iger and Kevin Feige have both said they're going to start reducing how much content they make. If your Daredevil series is drawing less numbers than Ms. Marvel, less numbers than Agatha All Along, and those production slots are becoming now preciously few.
Sure.
Do you dedicate one of those production slots every year to a show that is underperforming your other shows? Now, again, remember, I'm playing devil's advocate here. I love this show. I really like this show. But I'm asking, does it make sense to continue with an annual show and taking up production resources that you could be putting to other, maybe better performing things? You're in the Marvel executive room, how do you kind of navigate this?
Well, I think that when you're, again, the numbers, like we tend to believe, because we only talk about top 10, or top 20, whatever. We're looking at the top tiers of these shows across all platforms. And if you can say that, okay, on their platforms, it didn't do as much as Agatha All Along, but maybe because Daredevil was not a new show. It's the 4th season of a show that was once on Netflix.
That maybe people thought, and we said this going into the season, we said maybe people will think, I never watched the original, I can't jump in now.
Yeah, and I would maintain that these shows now exist in a rarefied air where people can watch them at will whenever they want. And we don't know, because we never hear about the long tail of these shows, that they might exist forever, and it's popular in what would be called syndication, but on a streaming service, it's not in syndication. It's just always there to watch. And we never hear about, like, I would love to know, like, sometimes you see like Moana, it's the #1 watched show on Disney Plus, because when they first add Moana in, I would be curious to look at, and I don't think anyone's ever done this, look at streaming shows 2 or 3 years after they debuted.
Well, they're still, if they make the chart, they do pop up.
Sure, but they're only talking about the top 20 of all streaming shows. But if you look at platforms, what would be surprising? Like, what are consistent since Netflix started Netflix? Is House of Cards still a big viewership? Does it still draw people to watch it? Like, I'd be curious to see what are the over the course of 5 years or 10 years, what are the most shows? We only hear about the #1 movies and then going down from there. But has anything over the course of time done really well? That it didn't, like, it wasn't a #1 show, but it's been consistent for years, so it's gone on to become one of their biggest earners.
A good movie example of that, we're going to go back a ways, but is My Big Fat Greek Wedding, which I believe I think today still holds the record for the movie with the most weeks in the top 10 at the box office without ever hitting number 1.
Yeah.
It just stayed and stayed and stayed and stayed. That said, movies like My Big Fat Greek Wedding or the great example you brought up, Suits, are very rare. Those are like the big exceptions, but it would be interesting to see how that does. But then again, if we say that applies to Daredevil, then we also got to say, well, that it's still an equal playing field because that also would then apply to Agatha All Along. It would still apply to...
Yeah, but that same could be that, does anybody watch Agatha all along afterwards?
Right, and we simply don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. And so I'm saying that I think Daredevil is something that is worth pursuing.
Yeah, so I think the ratings for season 2, let's put it this way. If the ratings for season 2 go down, which I don't think they will, because I thought season 1 was quite good.
Yeah, and people will discover it.
But if season 2, the ratings do go down, whatever Vincent D'Onofrio or Charlie Cox or anybody has to say is going to be irrelevant. They're canceling that show.
Sure.
They because it's already on, I think, shaky ground with its numbers. I think they've got to see the numbers go up, and I hope they do. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Do you think there's a very strong possibility that Charlie Cox just misspoke? Do you think he was talking about the end of this particular series, and then after Daredevil Born Again season 2, they're going to do Daredevil Dead Again season 1? After that, I mean, I don't know. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's go on and talk about this. One of my absolute favorite shows of the past number of years. I'm not going to say it's my ultimate number one, but one of my absolute favorite shows the last number of years has been The Boys. The Boys, which I remember when it was coming out, I liked the graphic novel stuff. I did. I thought it was really clever and cool. The Boys to me, and Rob, I think you've said the same thing, is one of those rare things where the TV or movie version is actually better than the original material. And that's just how good I think The Boys is. And one of the main reasons, not the only one, but one of the main reasons for The Boys being as good as it is Anthony Starr playing Homelander. It's rare when a show, not non-existent, but rare in a show when the villain literally steals the whole show and is the whole thing. Anthony Starr just recently wrapped. They just finished production on the final season of The Boys. It's done. No more shooting The Boys, and season 5 comes out soon. And he's wrapped production where he wrote an open kind of letter. And he said some interesting things here. This is coming to us from Variety. He then thanked showrunner Eric Kripke, who also did Supernatural, who he called his co-parent with this twisted gem of a character. He goes on to say, "We created a monster, sir, and I will miss him. And you," he continued, "till we roll out the last season, when I'll see you, but this creative chapter is closed, and I'll miss it, brother." Finally, Starr gave a massive thank you to the fans who are the lifeblood. "Without you, we don't get to do this, and our fans are second to none. Mad love to you, and deepest respect for your taste." All right, I thought it was a very nice letter. But I'm not here to talk about the letter he wrote, or the fact that The Boys is now ending, or the fact that they've wrapped production on season 5, or even the fact that we're getting Gen V very, very soon, which I'm very excited about. But once I read this letter, I started thinking about it. This thought entered my head of, man, Homelander's like one of the best villains we've ever had. And I stopped for a second. I thought about it a little bit more, and I came to this conclusion, Rob. He's not just one of the best villains we've ever had. I'm going to say it. He is, and I think it's time that all of us acknowledge it. Homelander is the best supervillain we've ever had on television. I'll say it. And that includes characters who are in super shows but aren't necessarily super powered. Like, I include in that Michael Rosenbaum's amazing Lex Luthor in Smallville. Mark or Jonathan remind me of, if we even want to go animated, Mark Hamill's amazing turn as Joker.
That's what I was going to say is probably, yeah.
And Reverse Flash in the first few seasons of Flash. He was a great antagonist. But when it comes to the totality of a great character, They have made over the years Homelander so layered, so nuanced, so quirky, so rich. Like everything from his weird idiosyncrasies, breast milk and whatever, to his fragile insecurities, his incredible megalomania, his everything about it, to the sheer terror of what he represents. I still think one of the most moving, powerful, jarring, and disturbing scenes to me in any super show ever, I might have been just this last season, where he pops up to this little girl, this young girl, about contemplating killing herself.
Oh yeah.
And then he finally just says, "Do it." And then he takes a rare choice. "Oh no, you're jumping her. I'm throwing you off." Like that has stuck with me. And let's go back to season 1, the airplane. I'm not talking about the one he takes down in episode 1.
No.
I'm talking about the one he does with Queen Maeve. That is like simply one of the most incredible sequences I've ever seen in a superhero show. Like that elevated that show right in season 1 from not just being a great superhero show, it made it a truly great television show, period. And Homelander is, I think, when I really stop to think about it, Rob, not only do I think the best one we've ever had as a totality, as a character, as a whole, and as a villain, who is truly horrifying and terrifying. I mean, that one scene when he goes back to the scientists who helped create him.
Oh.
Horrifying. I don't even think it's close. I think he's by far and away the greatest one we've ever had on television. Again, all due respect to the magnificent Michael Rosenbaum, Lex Luthor, or Joker, or others that we've had. Anyway, Rob, any thoughts about Homelander, where I put him in the overall pantheon, the fact that they've just wrapped his last scene ever? I don't know. What's your takeaway from this?
I think the genius of the Homelander character, especially as written in the show, is we, the audience, are sympathetic to his villainy because it's all earned. Like, we totally understand the guy's a complete, but from birth, he was designed by a company. He picked and prodded and experimented on and puzzled over by scientists, when all he ever wanted, Homelander, is all any of us want. He just wanted to be loved and respected and cared for. And what we see is what happens to somebody. And by the way, he's a stand-in for the rot, I think, at the center of American culture, which is why it's so relevant. How many people have we seen that are neglected, that aren't loved? Children, and they grow up, they're never given a chance. I mean, sure, there was probably some psychopathy in him in the first place, where he
100%.
But he was forged into this amoral, horrible human being by everyone, all circumstances. And when you see different, I'm not saying that I mean, he's a stand-in for so many things wrong. You see, why did kids shoot up? Why did they shoot up Columbine? Why did they do that? And I think a lot of it has to do with what goes on culturally in our culture. We forget how much empathy can go a long way. One kind word or one moment where somebody's feeling bad and you don't even know why. You just say, "Hey, is there something I can do for you? Let me help." That's what Edith Keeler said in City on the Edge of Forever in Star Trek. But I mean, that's the thing. And he is the product. He's an American who never got what Americans can be best at, which is to be nurturing and helpful and supportive and loving. And he was a complete product of corporate greed and everything wrong with our society that has a mirror. And I think why he's so great is we all recognize that when we watch it, and we kind of hope that he'll find redemption. But at the same time, we know he is irredeemably awful.
I think we crossed that line in the show at one point, but yeah, I was with you. Like, for the first, maybe whatever, you're thinking through the show, maybe he can have his come to Jesus moment. Maybe
Homelander, but we know he's not. No,
and
we don't want it.
Certain things happen.
Yeah, no, we don't want it to. That's
happen.
the thing, because we love how he is deliciously evil in a way that we've never seen before. And we sit there and marvel, like, oh my God, when we thought you couldn't get any worse, the writers figure out a way to make him even worse
and scarier,
and that's
more horrifying.
glorious.
Oh,
glorious.
And yet they are never afraid to show his weaknesses, right? Like when everything was going on with Stormfront, I remember it was the beginning of the season after like Stormfront had died, right? He was still really hurt by the whole thing.
Yeah,
and it would still really
because it was
him.
what he's looking for, caring and love.
And he thought he found it.
And he thought he found it. Nope.
It's just simply, I think, the best villainous character we've ever had. And you know what? I haven't sat down and thought about it, but he'll go down, I think, as one of the top overall characters from any superhero show, not just villain, like
and
one
movies.
of the best characters and movies.
There's never been a better supervillain than Homelander.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
Yeah,
in any medium, almost in any audiovisual medium, because I can't think of one. I mean, look, Lex Luthor's a great villainous character, and Michael Rosenbaum was great as Lex Luthor, but he was not, that Lex Luthor was nothing like, I mean, the depravity that Homelander was capable of. And by the way, it's wildly entertaining.
And on top of it all,
the more depraved they made him, the more disgusting they make him, the more horrible they make him, the more enjoyable he is to watch. There is in the dichotomy of that character.
By the way, I mentioned Michael Rosenbaum's fantastic Lex Luthor, Mark Hamill's Joker. Another one, somebody in the live chat reminded me of this too. One of the other great ones, at least for season 1. Skylar in Heroes season 1.
Oh, amazing.
Amazing.
He was very similar. He was on a Homelander level.
Yeah.
Boy, did they that show.
Oh God, don't even make me think about it.
One of the greatest, like you said, first seasons of a show ever. And Eric Kripke.
Yep.
You know, he knew. It's like this show has been his apology for the.
You know, one of the big things, it was the writer's strike. The writer's strike really, but that doesn't excuse them not being able to get back on track, but the writer's strike totally threw them off track.
Save the cheerleader, save the world, John.
It's one of the best catchphrases for any show ever. Save the cheerleader, save the world.
It's a cautionary tale for all television writers.
Or Sylar, not Skylar, sorry. Sylar.
Yeah, Sylar. Skylar is from Walter White's wife.
Yeah, from Breaking Bad. Yeah, I was going to say it's not Skylar, it's Sylar. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? I mean, they have wrapped up the production on The Boys. It's now done. This great open letter that we got from Anthony Starr about playing Homelander. But more importantly here, I just think it's time that we all officially say it. He's the greatest villain of any superhero show ever. And I don't even think by a small margin, maybe by quite a bit. Anyway, however you see it, it's a subjective thing, obviously. Jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. That down. Let's move on to this, shall we? Yesterday, there was a great disturbance in the fandom force. You saw across a lot of outlets, even the biggest ones, like this one right here, Ryan Reynolds teases Deadpool Avengers crossovers, Doomsday enters, or even the John Campea Show yesterday.
We covered it.
Big news. Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds, it all came from this Instagram post, of course, where, do we lose our screen?
I don't know, but I got that. If you want to use that.
Oh, is my screen not coming up anymore?
Try refreshing it. In the meantime, I'll have that and I'll find the Instagram post.
Okay. Let me see what I can do here. Anyway. Let's see here if I can get this to work. I'm having a hard time getting it to work, and I really need to get it to work. Anyway, so I'm going to send you a link, Jonathan, so you can have it here.
Okay.
So it all came from Ryan Reynolds getting on his Instagram page and posting this image of the Avengers symbol. And try my screen again, see if it's coming up now. There we go. Of this Avengers symbol. Right? And that got everybody like, I don't know. By the way, with no commentary. No commentary. And we talked about how Ryan Reynolds, good Canadian kid, by the way, is very social media savvy, blah, blah. And the text is small, but I'll read some of this. Even his own followers on his social media were saying things like, if you're saying what I think you're saying, I'm actually going to scream. And another one is he playing or is this for real? And then, wait, what are you up to? And somebody else writing, I'm going to have to go see my therapist. The GOAT, this was obvious. Somebody wrote, this was obvious. Excuse me, what? Don't do this to us. I mean, obviously, all the outlets, including this one, his social media followers, and we did a thing too saying, well, this is Ryan Reynolds teasing that Deadpool is going to be in it. Also, it makes total sense. When you look at the last 10 MCU films, it's like the old Sesame Street game. One of these things is not like the others. If we go over the last 10 MCU films, none of them come close. I think the closest one came is to within about 400 million. That's how far ahead Deadpool and Wolverine is. Doctor Strange 2 made 955. That's the one that got the closest. Thor Love and Thunder made a very respectable 760. Black Panther 2 dropped nearly in half from the first Black Panther, but still $859 million. Ant-Man 3, 461. Guardians 3, 845. The Marvels, 206. Captain America 4, 415. Thunderbolts, which is a great movie, by the way, but only made 382. And as of right now, Fantastic Four at 437. And then there's Deadpool and Wolverine. If you're going to go over your last 10, not last 2, not last 3, your last 10 films, who is your most bankable star? It's Ryan Reynolds. It's Deadpool. To go into the Avengers things, it would theoretically, when you just look at the data and the numbers, that's the one. If you're going to say one guy you got to put in there, it's probably Deadpool. It all makes sense. So on this show, like everybody else, we came on and talked about, clearly Ryan Reynolds is teasing that he is going to be in Deadpool, or he's going to be in Avengers, Doomsday, and or Secret Wars. So at the conclusion of yesterday's show, I opened my email, and there's an email for me from somebody.
Adam Aaron.
Who I will simply say is very well connected to the situation. All right. All I can say is this is 100% take this to the bank. Where it was communicated to me in an email immediately after the show was done that Ryan Reynolds was absolutely not hinting that he's going to be in Avengers Doomsday. Again, if we look at the image that he posted, many of you guys will remember this is an image that does pop up in Deadpool and Wolverine. And that Ryan simply just, loved this rendition of that image and decided to share it. Because again, that's his last big movie, Deadpool and Wolverine, and just put it up as a celebration.
It's a celebration.
Again, it was communicated to me that Ryan Reynolds was absolutely not hinting that Deadpool was going to be in Avengers Doomsday.
Yeah.
Just like he didn't drop the original Deadpool test footage on the internet.
Yeah, absolutely not. Again, despite the fact, you bring this back up, Jonathan, tons of outlets interpreting that, despite the fact his own social media followers were interpreting that, it has, and I can say this is 100% true. They call it an exclusive. I hate that word. But it was without any uncertainty communicated to me that Ryan Reynolds was absolutely not trying to hint that Deadpool was going to be in Avengers Doomsday. Now, that said, what was not in that email to me, just to be clear, what was not in that email was a statement, Ryan Reynolds is definitely not in Avengers Doomsday. What was not in that email was a statement that says Ryan Reynolds is not going to be in Avengers Secret Wars. The totality and the extent of the statement was Ryan Reynolds was absolutely not hinting that he was going to be in Avengers Doomsday.
Hinting? That's what it said?
Yeah. Was because we said in our title and everything, and in the headlines from Screen Rant and others, Ryan Reynolds hints that his appearance.
I would say it's more than a hint.
That's what so what we said on the show yesterday was, hey, Ryan Reynolds is clearly hinting that he's going to be in this. Again, I am just communicating to you what has been definitively communicated to me, which was Ryan Reynolds was absolutely not trying to hint that he is in Avengers Doomsday. Again, it didn't say Ryan Reynolds is absolutely not in Avengers Doomsday. It simply said Ryan Reynolds was absolutely not hinting. And I feel that if we're going to be above board, if I'm going to get on my show and do our headline topic like it was yesterday, that Ryan Reynolds is clearly hinting that he's going to be in Avengers Doomsday, then I need to communicate to you when it is passed on to me that Ryan Reynolds was absolutely not hinting. Okay. Look, one of the things that I made very clear yesterday was that, Ryan Reynolds, I would argue more than any other celebrity in Hollywood, is probably the most social media savvy star in Hollywood there is today.
And marketing savvy.
Marketing, absolutely.
Whether it's Mint Mobile,
savvy.
whether it's Aviation Gin, whether it's getting Deadpool made by dumping that footage on the internet and pretending he didn't. What that whole thing with Hugh Jackman and him going, hey, you want to be in the next Deadpool?
Sure.
Yeah,
I mean, no, he's a genius. He's an absolute, seriously.
So he just randomly put this thing on the internet just to have fun, just hint. So I'm thinking about how my movie was successful.
I mean, when he decides to hang it up in acting, he should absolutely go to USC and teach marketing, or entertainment marketing, whatever. Look, I gotta believe that when Ryan Reynolds puts this on his social media with no commentary, and you read these comments, he knows these are the comments he's going to get.
He does.
He knows this is the response he's going to get. And he 100% knows, beyond any shadow of a doubt, that morons like me, and many other outlets, obviously, are going to take that and interpret it a certain way. Now, again, if he posted that on his social media and said on it, I was going through some art that was sent in to me, and this is one of my favorite images from Deadpool and Wolverine, and somebody sent this rendition of it, and I just loved it, and I wanted to share it with you guys. Okay, fine. End of discussion. But he just posted that image with no commentary. And while I can 100% guarantee you of the validity of this person writing to saying Ryan Reynolds was absolutely not trying to hint that absolutely was communicated to me. And it is absolutely from a reliable source, 100%. I would push back and say, he may not have sat down and say but I would say this. Ryan clearly knew what was going to happen, though.
Clearly.
There is no chance somebody as intelligent as Ryan Reynolds, especially in this space, did not know that he knew that he knew that he knew that morons like me and every other outlet and all the fans would instantly jump to this. Of course he knew we were going to. He may not say that this was what I was trying to hint at, but come on, he knew that would be our reaction and our response. He's just too smart. So anyway, it is incumbent and I had a responsibility to pass on to you, given the fact that we talked about it yesterday, that it has been communicated to me that was not what he was hinting, that he is not hinting that he's going to be in Doomsday. So take that and interpret it as you will. Anyway, Rob, you are a sitting front row for this entire thing unfolding. What's your takeaway from this?
2 words: contract negotiations. All you do is have to put out a thing and you say to Marvel, hey, the only other explanation is maybe this had something to do with something else going on in his life, but contract negotiations, John, they haven't done the second seat video yet, making those directors' chairs, getting those names ready to go.
But they're 4 months into filming the film.
Yeah, but they're also doing Secret Wars. They're shooting for a year. Yeah, they would. I'm sure. That's why I say contract negotiations. You can't do the
contract negotiations when they're almost done shooting the film.
They still got Secret Wars to go. One never knows.
One never knows. I
mean, you work it in. The way they can do things these days, I'm telling you, contract negotiations. What a way to do it. No, man, this doesn't have anything to do with Avengers. Sure, Jan.
All right. Let's go one step further. All right.
It was not Justin Baldoni hacking his account.
The rumor out there And I honestly don't think you should count on this, guys. Don't count on this. It's possible, but don't count on it. The rumor right now is we've all known that there's going to be a second round of cast announcements for Avengers Doomsday. The rumor right now is that it might be August 27th. Again, I wouldn't say count on it, but it's possible. So let's, for argument's say, that Chair Watch Part 2 happens.
Dun, dun, dun.
Are you expecting to see Ryan Reynolds' name in Chair Watch Part 2?
You're asking me?
Yeah, let's, for argument's sake, say it does happen on the 27th. August 27th. So you're sitting at home watching it from the Rubservatory. Do you expect that the Ryan Reynolds name is going to be one of those names?
Yes, 100%. Right along with Hugh Jackman. Both of them are going to be in these movies, 100% guaranteed. And by the way, I say that purely speculating. But I usually hit it about 85% of the time.
He is, after all, Marvel Jesus.
He is. And dude, I want to see him say that. When he shows up in the movie, I want him to look at Dr. Doom and go, I am Marvel Jesus. And Doom, played by Robert Downey Jr. I mean, if there's ever a retort where Doom could come back and say, it's not called Avengers Deadpool. I mean, come on. That's golden.
So you think Dr. Doom should be so powerful that he can jump in and break the fourth wall with?
Yes. Because that would be the greatest joke ever. If he says that I'm Marvel Jesus and Tony Stark, or pardon me, Victor Von Doom takes his helmet off, looks at him and goes, or says whatever he's going to say.
It's not called Avengers Deadpool Day.
Yeah, it's Dead Day, or
it's Doomsday.
Yeah.
And again, let's bring up these numbers again. It was a great funny joke in the movie when it says, I am Marvel Jesus. But look at I'm sorry, he is Marvel Jesus. Just look at these numbers. Nothing else in the last 10 films they have done has come remotely close to this. He is Marvel Jesus. So I got to believe he's going to be there. But again, the official word is that by putting up that image the other day, he was in fact not hinting that he was going to be there. But
100%.
I think he should just troll more. I mean, I think he should on his Instagram or whatever, just set up a tracking shot of revealing a chair and his name's on it. And then he gets in the chair and he announces the new season of Wrexham or something.
Oh my God. That would be hilarious. And he would do that.
By the way, Welcome to Wrexham is awesome. It's so good. You got to be watching it.
This is just the beginning, by the way. I mean, can you imagine? He'll have his own separate promotional campaign for Doomsday just on his own.
Listen, just him as a marketer is worth whatever money they're going to pay him to be in this. Just him as a marketer. So anyway, again,
I mean, they got to do a reverse shot where it's Hugh Jackman sitting in that same couch, and Hugh Jackman goes, "Hey Ryan, you want to be in the new Avengers movie?" And Ryan's going up the stairs saying, "Sure, Hugh," and just do that.
That would be clever. Again, by the way, for the record, I still don't expect to see Hugh Jackman.
100%.
Again, I'm not saying he's not. I don't have any information that he's not. I'm just saying.
Remember,
I'm guessing
Deadpool's only one half of that 1.3 billion.
Yeah, but point me to a Hugh Jackman Wolverine film that made anywhere near that.
But all the rest of the X-Men without Hugh Jackman?
I'm just saying. I think that was a swan song, but we'll find out. Anyway, guys, the question is for you. What do you think about this? It has been officially noted that despite the fact what everybody reported yesterday, including us, that Ryan Reynolds was kind of teasing his involvement in Avengers Doomsday. No, he wasn't. But it never said he absolutely wasn't going to be in it. It just says he wasn't hinting at being in it. I don't know. What are you expecting? Did you make the same assumption everybody else did? Are you expecting to see Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool in Avengers Doomsday? Whatever you guys think about this, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys, with that down, it's time for us to move on to the most important part of our show, of course, which is taking your live comments and questions. But before we do that, we're going to bid Good day to writer, director, producer Robert Meyer Burnett. Great job as always, my friend.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to go home and think about how Hugh Jackman's going to be, how great he's going to be in Avengers: Doomsday, along with Ryan Reynolds.
And then we will talk about it tomorrow when I see you again. Yes, guys. So now, with that all said, let's get over to your comments and questions, shall we? Jonathan, what we got up first?
Eve Tessmacher's Feet has a two-parter. After reading an alleged leak script for the King Dynasty, we dodged a bullet. Nick Cage Ghost Rider as an anchor being why all but 4 Avengers dying, and the relics, the 10 rings, etc., which no casual fan cares about. Ant-Man Kang becoming the Beyonder, though he was defeated by an ant in Quantumania. It was so bad. I'm wondering if I read something written in ChatGPT, but you don't know if that
I
was
almost
real.
guarantee it was fake.
Yeah.
I almost guarantee it was fake. I can't. I don't know for certain. I can't absolutely guarantee. I'm just saying it is the high probability that was probably fake. I don't see. Listen, not that Marvel has not made missteps ever since Avengers Endgame. They absolutely have. But I can't see Kevin Feige doing any of those things or greenlighting any of those things. But so again, who knows? But I highly doubt its authenticity. All right, what's next?
We got Talking Dog. Hey, John, have you gotten a chance to see Eddington yet? One of my favorite movies of the year so far. This movie fully embodies the fear and paranoia of COVID and is also hilarious.
I have not. The problem was I just had too hard of a time getting over Beau is Afraid. I really didn't like that movie at all. And the more as it got closer and closer, it just felt more and more like Beau is Afraid to me. And I just never went to go see it. Again, I'm not saying it's not good because I can't say that. I've never seen it. But I just lost all my enthusiasm to see it. So I never got around to seeing it, to be honest with you. All right, what's next?
Adam says if Deadpool is in Avengers Doomsday, it would be hilarious if they gave the movie's only F-bomb to another character right before Deadpool has a chance to say it himself.
Oh, we joked about that yesterday, where like somebody drops an F-bomb and Deadpool comes racing into the frame. What are you doing? Kind of reminds me of Cartman in the last couple things about that's my stick or something like that. And have Deadpool do something. That could be funny. All right, what's next?
Baldur's Grape. Just in terms of Spider-Man, Brand New Day, Venom tease, Matt Gargan was Venom in the comics from 05 to 09. So there is some comic accuracy there. He was very hulking and menacing, but normal Venom, not a Scorpion blend. He was the Dark Avengers. Right. He dropped.
Yeah.
It wasn't like Venom in a Scorpion outfit. He was just Venom.
Yeah. And then he was in that, I think in Osborn's, was it Osborn that put that together? I can't remember. Anyway, but yes. And I think,
it was the Dark Avengers was Osborn.
I thought we referenced that on the show yesterday, but anyway, you are 100% correct. So that's why what he posted on his social media was literally one of the comic covers. So that is absolutely has precedence in the comics if they do decide to go that way. And again, whether that's what they're doing or not, we will find out, but it would make sense because Tom Hardy has made it very clear he's done playing the character. He loved it. It's one of his favorite things he's ever done, but he is now done. He's finished with Venom. And if they want to continue on Venom, and it also seems like Sony's done with the character. And if Sony's done with the character, they can now let Marvel use it if they want. So I expect that's what we're probably going to see. I don't know for a fact, but I expect. All right, what's next?
Robot Man, Alien Earth is awesome. What a way to kick off a show with Neverland and Mr. October, respectively.
Oh, so good.
Wendy is my favorite character. For me, it's crazy to think I could have been a Lost Boy at 6. I used to have braces on my legs at 4, crawled, now I run.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's a cool story. By the way, does anybody else, did you see any of it last night, Jonathan?
No, I didn't get a chance
I wish
to get
Rob
to
was
it.
here to ask him this then, because am I the only one that was watching that show and the boy genius? Am I the only one that I thought like, oh, they originally had Timothée Chalamet, but he had to drop out and they got his stand-in? Come on, I'm not the only one, right? Like that thought that looked like a poor man's Timothée Chalamet. Again, the performance is very good, by the way. I'm not slagging on the actor at all, not in the least. I'm just saying it felt like they got a discount Timothée Chalamet in there. I couldn't be the only one that thought that. Anyway, all right, what's next?
We got that's a weird shot. Anonymous. Hi, John and crew. I did a double feature yesterday. Saw Naked Gun and then watched Weapons. I might have done that the opposite way.
Yeah, I would have ended the day with a laugh.
Yeah. Both movies were good. I laughed so hard at Naked Gun. As far as weapons, it was good, but I agree with you that Sinners is my #1 movie this year so far.
Yeah, again, and that takes nothing away from Weapons. That's a great movie. And I again, I don't think it's as good as Sinners, but it's still a wonderful, excellent addition to the theaters right now. You should absolutely go and see it. Again, Naked Gun to me lost its momentum in the last half hour, the last third of the movie, because it's only an hour and a half movie. But there are so many huge laughs in the first hour that it almost didn't even matter to me. I still loved it overall.
Someone said Timothée Chalamet.
Timothée Chalamet. There you go.
Works.
All right, what's next?
Timothée Chalamet. Someone probably said that.
Timothée Chalamet. That's what they should put in the credits of Alien Earth. Again, not trying to slag on that actor at all. He did a very, very good job. But Timothée Chalamet. All right,
Blake,
what's next?
Superman releases on digital this Friday. What's the studio's calculus here? You still have to buy it, so I assume their metrics show they can make more money in that second month picking up sales at home combined with box office. Do we have metrics on this?
We're not going to have any metrics till it happens,
Right.
and even then, we're not going to get full metrics on it. Again, I think this is a mistake. I mean, granted, it's not like some other movies that after 2 weeks in theaters. I mean, Superman is going into its what, 6th weekend?
It's there for a while, yeah.
Yeah. But again, my big thing, and this isn't just with Warner Brothers, it's with the whole industry. All this industry is doing is shooting themselves in the face because they are training the audience. They are conditioning the audience by putting these big movies just out on home video so quickly. They're just training the audience and conditioning the audience that, oh, you don't need to go to the movies. And that, as Matt Damon best explained out and laid out, that is where they make the lion's share of their money.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it. It's like, well, Superman is almost out of steam. Okay, that's great. But it's not just about Superman. It's about all the movies you're ever going to put out ever.
Right.
You're conditioning the audience. You're creating a pattern of behavior that is basically telling the audience, hey, you know what? You don't really need to come to the theater to see this. Just wait a couple of weeks and you'll get it. Now, granted, it's not going on HBO Max this Friday. You're going to have to spend minimum, I think, $30 to watch it at home. So it's still going to make some money at the box office regardless. But still, they're not looking long-term on this. They got to look at it more long-term and say, what damage are we doing to the movies that we have coming out in 2 years? Because that's the thing, we're doing damage to movies that we haven't even shot yet because we continue to condition the audience that, oh, you don't need to come to the theater. Just wait a few weeks.
Yeah.
And they're killing themselves.
It needs to be a longer theatrical run, but also there needs to be a longer gap between when it is done with its run
100%.
and when you can get it on digital.
Yep. It used to be an event. I remember, and it wasn't that long ago. This isn't like a back in the day. This is not that long ago. That it used to be an event when a big movie was now making its way to
DVD
to
or
home
whatever.
entertainment.
Because
to
you're like,
DVD
oh,
or Blu-ray
yes,
or whatever.
You know?
Now it's just, yeah, I figured that would happen now. Like, it's not a big thing anymore.
Nah.
Anyway. All right, what's next?
Contemplative Warrior. My top 10 of 2025 thus far out of 55. Congrats on getting to 55 movies just to August. Sinners is #1, then Thunderbolts, Superman, Warfare, How to Train Your Dragon, Eddington, F1, which I'm seeing today, Weapons, Life of Chuck, Companion.
All right, leave that up for a second.
And then honorable mention would be Naked Gun.
I think my top 3 are the same. I might slide Superman into the #2 spot. I might drop Warfare would be on my list, but I think I might drop it down a little bit. I loved How to Train Your Dragon. I like it where it is at 5. I didn't even see Eddington there. I like F1 being there. I like Weapons. I might swap F1 and Weapons. Loved them both though. I might take Life of Chuck, even though I really did enjoy the film. I would probably take that off my list. And Companion's a good one to have on there. Again, I don't have a list of all the movies I've seen this year in front of me to put together my own list, but I like your list. I like it a lot. All right, what's next?
We got Pop-Tart. If Pixar doesn't lean into the lizard meme once the Hoppers marketing ramps up, They will be leaving money on the table. They need a good win after Elio, which I love, by the way. Hoppers looks fun.
I have to say, I was not enamored with Hoppers at CinemaCon. But the trailer they put out, I got to say, I think you're right. It looks pretty good. It looks far better than Elio did. Like, you know me, I never got on board with Elio. I never thought it looked all that good. The concept is solid, but it just never looked like they executed on it. And the movie's okay. I mean, Elio's not a bad film, but
right. People who saw it liked it. No one saw it though.
But
no one,
at best, it's okay, right? And that's not Pixar standards. Hoppers, I kind of thought would be the next Elio, but I gotta say, it looks like a much better movie. It looks like a much more entertaining movie. And you're right. Listen, they don't need it to be $1 billion film or anything, but they need it to be good because Pixar can lose their quality reputation really quick if they're not careful. And I'm with you on this. I think it looks much better than Elio ever did. All right, what's next?
Oh no, it's the Snickers wrapper of doom. I am a big fan of Jurassic franchise and really enjoyed Rebirth, though I did have very mixed reactions. It did have very mixed reactions, plus each film since 2015 has decreased box office wise. Do you think we see a Jurassic 8 in the next 3 to 4 years, or more likely an extended break? 3 to 4.
I think you've got the perfect window. I think we go a year or two without an announcement, and then we get an announcement, and then in year 3 or 4 we get the movie. I think that is the perfect window. So look. My first thought coming out of Jurassic World Rebirth was this should be it. Right? This should be it. I didn't think it was I don't think it was a terrible movie because it did have some really good moments that I was entertained by, but overall it's a pretty lackluster film. So I didn't enjoy it overall. And I really did feel like this should be it. But here's the reality. As I go over and try to give me a second here, Jurassic Rebirth. And I'm just going to see what I believe it is now past 800 million. Yeah, there it is. $800 million. Almost 801 million it's made. It doesn't matter if it's in a decline. 800 million means you're going to make another one.
And that's good. That's good profit margin.
And that's $801 million for a movie that's not even all that good.
Yeah.
If they made it as good as it looked,
yeah.
this would be $1 billion film.
If they start hitting like 500 to 600 million, then they're going to start thinking like, with the budget, 500 million is,
If this made 500 or 600 million, I think they may seriously consider to stop the franchise, at least for a really long time. But crossing 800 million, when again, it's not even all that good. And by the way, this is a really interesting number. I want to point this out. It's an $800 million movie. See how much it's made domestically?
Yeah.
Superman made more than it did domestically.
Mm-hmm.
That just really highlights, for Jurassic especially, how important the international market is to the Jurassic World franchise.
Yeah.
But yeah, at $800 million, I don't see how you don't do another one. Again, just make it good. Yeah, it's easier said than done. All right, what's next?
We got 6'9" slim man child. Yo, I love the show. I'm a PE teacher and baseball coach.
Oh, nice.
Nice, in Arizona. I had the summer off chilling with my newborn, and I rewatched all of Potter, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, and Indy J.
Nice.
If y'all did a rewatch of one of these one day, well, I have done a few times a extended cut marathon in one day with friends of Lord of the Rings. I've done that.
That's a full day, man.
It's a full day. I actually served breakfast, and then we kind of like hit that again for lunch, and then we'd take walks around the block between movies, and then we'd have dinner or whatever. But you got to do that. Potter, I feel like, unless you could do the one trilogy out of the 3 of Star Wars, I don't think you can do 9 films, and Potter's 7 films. Indiana Jones.
Well, but remember, he's not saying in one day. No,
he said in one day.
No, he couldn't have.
Yeah.
No, bring that up again. He didn't say he did it all in one day.
See right there.
No,
No, not all of that. He said if you could pick one of these in one day, which would you do?
Oh, if you got one of these in one.
No way he could do all of that.
Okay,
No.
okay, I see what you're saying.
Let's
All
just
right.
watch it and fast forward.
So, for me, for those of you who've watched for a long time, you know this. I generally try to do a full Lord of the Rings rewatch at least once a year. I think I've missed a year here or there, but generally speaking, I try to do a Lord of the Rings rewatch about once a year. They're three of the greatest movies ever made. Star Wars, I'm just watching Star Wars all the time. Like I can watch Return of the Jedi 3 or 4 times a year. I just did a full original trilogy rewatch about a month or two ago. So, I mean, that's more than once a year, but I don't always do it in order. Sometimes I'm just in an Empire Strikes Back mood, or I'm just in a New Hope mood, or whatever. So that happens all the time. I don't really go back and I'll rewatch the Harry Potters when Anne is watching one of them, but I don't make it a point to go and rewatch those. So for me, it's probably Lord of the Rings. If I was going to do a one day sort of thing, it's probably Lord of the Rings. Cause just, I watch Star Wars so much all the time. I would say Lord of the Rings. All right. What's next?
All right. We got Tron. This might be a hot take, but I'm more excited about Spider-Man Noir than I am for Brand New Day. It's a different take on the Spider-Man, and we haven't seen before. Nick Cage is awesome, and I love that it's in black and white. Either way, 2026 is a big year for Spidey.
I can't say the same. Now, I've been very interested in this live action Spider-Man Noir. I am really looking forward to it. I cannot wait to watch that. But I would be disingenuous were I to say I'm more excited for that than I am for Spider-Man Brand New Day. Yeah, I'm more excited for that. Like if I could have my choice, Kevin Feige and the head of who's doing Spider-Man Noir, I think it's Amazon Studios.
Yes.
Came in and said, "Hey, both of us, we have a copy of Spider-Man Noir, all episodes, and Spider-Man Brand New Day, but both of us can only be here for the next 5 hours. You got to watch one. Got to pick one. You got to send the other one home." I'll cry about it, but I'll pick Spider-Man Brand New Day. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what I go for. But I am very much looking forward to Spider-Man Noir. All right, what's next?
SB, does WB's success help the DCU in any way, or does DC still pretty much have to pave its own way? Does it help financially maybe, or just in some other way? Side note, I watched Superman for the 6th time today. Hope I'm not crazy.
No, I'm with you, man. No, the thing about it's different. WB's success doesn't even help other WB films. They're not connected, which just makes it more impressive what they just accomplished. Putting out 6 films in a row that all opened to over $40 million. Again, according to Variety, that's never been done before for a major studio distributor. But the success of Weapons does nothing to help if they were putting out a rom-com next, right? It does. They're complete. Now with DC though, they're all connected, and the viewers identify them as a single thing. So that's more of a thing. So no, Warner Brothers' success doesn't help DC, but it doesn't even help other Warner Brothers films. It's just a remarkable achievement that as a whole, what the company's been able to accomplish.
Yeah, it's like if Pixar did $1 billion film, it's not going to help the next Marvel movie. Financially, they're not funneling money back and forth to help. Pixar, like Inside Out 3 making $1 billion won't help National Geographic's next documentary. Yeah. All right, what's next? We got Arizona Dark Phoenix with a $20 tip.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate you supporting us on that level, dude.
John, love you and the crew. In regards to your Phoenix tour stop, as a local, I have one thing to say. Dude, effing January, please. We've been riding out at $120, 120 degrees this week, most days. Can we see if this location has a bar inside? Harkins does. And air conditioning.
Yeah, and I did look this up. While it has been hitting like 118, 119, 120, again, bucking up against 120 in Phoenix lately. This is still hot, but much more manageable. Friday's supposed to be 101. And it's in the evening. So the sun will be down, all that kind of stuff. So we should be good. This was not a mid-afternoon a matinee that we're going to be standing around out there in 115 degree heat. It's going to be much cooler than that in the day. And this is going to be in the evening. So we should be okay. We should be good. All right, what's next?
Inspector Guru. Hey, John, let's not forget that Will Smith got Aunt Viv fired from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and replaced her with the lady with the big hair. So it's definitely... Wait, there was a different Aunt Viv?
Yep. Started off with a different one. Now, but, okay, in Will
Like
Smith's...
from season 1? I
Yeah.
didn't remember. Oh, okay.
In Will Smith's defense on that, it is not terribly uncommon. Doesn't happen often, but it's not terribly uncommon, especially in the early development of a show. Maybe not as into when, like to the point they got with that, where two actors simply cannot get along and function.
Right.
The studio will always then, well, our show is literally named after this person.
Right.
This is the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air starring the Fresh Prince. So while I am with you that there is a history of that stuff with Will Smith, 100%, we went over it yesterday. We talked about the history. I would actually not count that one because that one's not terribly unique of a situation. But I mean, it's still, you could point to it and say that's another incident, but I would, yeah, I wouldn't count that one personally, but I see where you're coming from with that.
My brain just, because I don't think I hopped in just because of my age. I didn't hop in right away until several seasons into Bel-Air. So I never knew this. I never knew this took place.
Yeah. All right.
That was it. And so I had posted a member thing, but it doesn't exist. I don't know what happened.
Oh dear. Maybe it didn't go through. All right. Well, that's okay. Guys, that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here and making our little show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in the questions. Number one, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported this channel as you did it, and all of us involved with the show. Thank you guys so very much for your support. Of course, big thanks to Robert Meyer Burnett for being here. He'll be back again tomorrow, of course. Our technical producer, Jonathan Voico.
That's me.
My name's John Campea, guys. Thanks so much for being here. And until next time, my friends, bye-bye.